Here we go. I had an itchy trigger finger. I think Justin's ready soon in a minute. Something. I'm sitting up here in the luxury box at LV Ballpark.
He's
How
signing
you
the
doing?
Whataburger documents to open the Whataburger franchise in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. He's up against it.
I have a date now. I have a date of the signing,
For
September
the
22nd.
Whataburger?
No,
Yeah.
for, for the restaurant, September 22nd.
Oh, for the Arby's.
Arby's. That's right. The
I will say
church's
that
church's biggest.
the locations you were talking about are amazing, or location, or whatever you're doing. I don't know.
Oh, no, we said it was. We already figured it out. It was Pizza Ranch, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
Could be. Could be.
No, Brady. September 22nd.
Dan, how often do you go to California?
Rarely. I've been out there a few times. Had a nightmare trip when I was working with you back in the day.
Oh, really?
Back at the Sports Fan Radio Network days. I also moonlighted as the morning news sports anchor for the, what was that, Talk America Radio Network. And this is actually a funny story. So a guy I worked with over there was like, hey, I'm from Sacramento. Let's go to California. I'm like, hey, I've never been there before. He's like, we'll stay with my buddy. We got booted out the morning of, the place we're staying is like, well, this is actually a porn studio. So you guys have to leave. We're shooting today. So you got to go. Bye. So we had to go find a place, find something to do that day because they were filming that day. So that was my first foray into the not Sunshine State. What is it? Golden State? Yeah, Golden State. Yeah.
Sunshine is Florida.
Yes. Denver, gorgeous. The Sunshine State.
Yeah. Apparently, it's become the Wild Wild West. Have you guys ever been to the, as they call it, the Redneck Riviera? Because Petro, who does Wednesdays, actually just took his family down there 2 weeks ago, and I was reading today that it is now a living hell between the unvaccinated, the wild times, the no mask. That it's like one of the worst hotspots in the country now for COVID and the Delta variant. Not good.
Which part in particular is the?
I'm sorry, Redneck Riviera is actually it's up on the Panhandle. So it's that kind of, I think, Pensacola and Destin and areas like that. So.
Oh, you're talking about Florida. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Did I miss out on the Florida mention?
I thought you were talking about California. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's bad, man. I don't know what they're doing over there. That's crazy. We talked about this on the podcast before. I think Justin and I actually agreed. We had both traveled there. When we traveled there, we did not feel like it was much different than home. Like we wore masks. Everybody else was wearing masks. The gas stations, were a little bit different. Maybe like you went into the gas station, some people weren't wearing masks. Outside of that, people were essentially doing the same exact things that they were here in Colorado. And I think Justin, agreed that it was pretty much the same thing in Florida that it was here in Colorado or there in Las Vegas, that it wasn't much different going on. So now it's raging out of control. I mean, obviously the governor's on some sort of crazy tirade, which is actually, I got into a little beef yesterday with the guy at the golf course, on the border thing. God, this
Over
old
what?
dude. Oh, by the way, dude, by the way, I guess if we're going to start this thing off with a bang, how long do we have to take the high road? Like if we're going to deal with these kook nut jobs every day, how long do I have to, we have to take the high road for how long? I don't know. Like,
the personal choice. Your body, your choice. You do what you want with it. If you want to be a screaming lunatic and bang heads with the unvaxxed, you do it.
I'm sitting there kind of at my home course, and we're sitting there chatting with these two old guys who I really like. I really like these guys. And one of them's an old military vet. I think he's got a couple Purple Hearts, and they start railing against, Afghanistan. And I make like one little comment, and oh my God, he starts ranting and raving. And then it's about Biden and this and that. And I said, I really don't think we should start talking politics. And then he starts talking about gas prices as if the president of the United States sets gas prices, which newsflash, he doesn't. That's not the way the economy works. And then it was like the border. Oh my God, the border. And if you don't care about the border, Dan, you're a coward. You wouldn't pick up arms and fight for this country. And at that point, I'm like, well, how do I respond to this guy? Because I like the guy. I know he's kind of just a pissed off old man at this point. Yeah, I'm going to take the high road. This one time, I guess I'll take the high road. But I'm not, I'm just not. I mean, what's the standard, guys? Like, what's the standard? How much crap do we have to eat from these lunatics? Because we're taking the high road. Like, guy's sitting here insulting me, and do I want to tee off on this guy? Like, if I wanted to get the better of him and verbally beat him down, could I? Yeah, I could have. But
local judge assaults poor old man.
I'm not going to physically beat him. I mean, could I? Of course I could have physically beat him too. But I mean, like how much of these nut jobs do we have to sit here and take? Like, I don't know, man. Like, what's the standard? Watkins? Cofield? Well, I shouldn't ask Cofield. Cofield's not our voice of reason on this. Watkins? Can I get a ruling?
I try not to roll in the mud with the pigs, As soon as that whole conversation starts happening, I'm not going to win. Like, even when I win, I lose. When I lose, I stay as far away from that as possible, which is, sort of funny that I was in public service and you got to sit and listen to that. Maybe that helped me, maybe it hurt me. I'm not sure, but in public service, there's an area of every hearing called public comment. And that's when the public gets up and they have somewhere between 2 minutes or as low as 30 seconds, depending on the hearing, to just tee off on whatever they want. And, I got pretty good at sort of zoning out and finding my happy place on the crazies. And I sort of do the same thing. I'm into some, I don't know. I think it's called more frontier style living, right? I hunt, I camp, I fish, I go to the woods. I like going in the mountains. And in doing some of those endeavors, you do come across quite a few people that would view me, in particular, bald white dude with a long beard, as a friendly to these sort of topics. And they sort of just let loose. And I just don't participate. I just literally say, I don't want to talk about that stuff. And
well, no, but here, all right, Justin. So here's the deal. That's what I did. I said,
yep.
I really don't think talking about politics right now, I just really don't think it's fruitful. And then he takes the next step and basically calls me a coward. So I say, Justin, oh, you don't want to talk about this? You're a coward.
Yep. You're right.
Screw you, Justin, you coward.
Yeah, you're right.
You're a public official. You're a public official. You're collecting a paycheck. You hide behind your paycheck, you coward.
What you knew anything about the paychecks that the elected officials in the state of Nevada get, you would understand that I paid to become an elected official.
Oh, that's just so you and your cronies can collect all the money behind it. You bastards.
Yeah.
You coward.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that stuff.
You would never pick up a weapon and fight for us, you coward. So how do you respond to that? I mean that's literally what I said. I literally said,
yeah.
You know what? We're all friends here. I really don't think it's just not fruitful for us to be talking politics. And then he takes it the next step and says, basically calls me, he didn't call me a coward, but he basically says, if you don't think it's important what's going on at the border, I don't think you'd fight for our country. I'm like, oh, Jesus. All right. Okay.
I don't know. I just play golf. You're never going to win there, Dan. That's the thing. You're never going to win. That what they want is the argument. What they want is the debate. They're not. If you think anything you say, they're actually going to listen to. Then
my point is not. My point is not that I'm going to have a spirited discussion and win them over. My point is, at what point do we have to sit here and stop sitting back and just saying, yeah, I'll let you trample me. I'll let, we have to sit back and just let people like that trample all over us and just, smile our blank eating grins and go, oh, it's fine. You're a nut job. And we all know that you're a loser. And we'll go on with our lives. Yeah. And for the most part, we do, and I will. But I'm just like, you know what? I gave you one. And that's actually the next sentence out of my mouth was going to be, you get that one for free. That one is for free. The next one is not. And that was my restraint. That was my modicum of restraint. I did not utter that sentence, but that would be the next one. And that's it. It's not that I want to debate him and win him over. It's just, I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of it with the vaccinations. Because you know what? Because we spent pretty much the entire podcast last week, the vaccinations and stuff. It's not that, I believe that we should be forced, government, the government should line you up and shoot you in the arm. But America is supposed to be about, helping each other out and being in this together. And right now there's clearly, a faction of a society we're not in this together. And my family is suffering consequences of your choice to not be in this together. And now on top of it, I gotta listen to you run your mouth. And on top of it, now I gotta listen to nut jobs like that insult me. How much? I don't know, man.
You can see why somebody doesn't want to go to a $7.50 an hour job, bussing tables or waiting tables or hosting at a restaurant, because they hear this shit and then nothing they can say. They're not even allowed to respond, right? And they gotta. Hey, you can't tell me to wear a mask. Hey, you can't tell me that you can't. Ordinance X, says this. It's taxing. It's taxing to listen to that stuff. And I'd be, I don't get riled up about that stuff, but I'd be lying if I said that my universe, my orbit of people is the same as it was before. It's different.
Oh yeah.
I got no interest. I got no interest in being around that shit all the time. If I tell somebody I don't really want to get into that and they don't respect that and they want to shove it down my throat, well, then you know what? We're probably not hanging out anymore.
I remember telling I was going to say, I remember telling the audience the story of one of my girlfriend's friends who was coming over and getting all QE and freaking, YouTube and all this. And that was back in like last July. So I cut it off the pass before all of you guys did. I was like, get her the fuck out of here and tell her she's not coming back again. I don't like, you're not coming to my house and doing this nonsense. What one thing so the story you were telling, Dan, that guy actually served.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was trying to figure out, like, because he's old, but then I was trying to figure out, like, which war did he actually serve in? I mean, was it like Korea? Because he's probably not old enough that it was like World War II. So
Vietnam, what, 70s? Is he in the 70s?
Well, he seemed like he was so old, he was probably too old to be Vietnam. I don't know, man.
The Korean War.
Yeah, that'd be Korea, yeah.
It's probably Korea, but then I don't know.
I hear
maybe people get grumpy as they get older, but I just like the vets that I'm around and the vets that I'm around and vets that are in my family, which includes my father and potential father-in-law, they don't talk about any of it ever. Right. And I always think to myself, like, what were you actually like when you served? Were you just a shithead? Because to me, like, part of the whole experience is to learn a certain amount of discipline. And you did it because you thought it was the right thing to do. If you're drafted, that would suck. But I don't know. I just think there's, all military people are not the same. But as I hear people flaunt their service, and especially the stolen valor assholes on social media, who I think most of them are lying about serving, I'm like, I don't know, man. The military people I'm around don't act like this. So when you're out there and you're pointing at other people, you miss some of the lessons of serving.
Well, and my grandpa was World War II officer, pilot. He volunteered, but we spoke about it in private when he was mentoring me, but yeah, I mean, he was never flaunting it, and it was certainly something he never bragged about it,
Right.
and um, he certainly talked about moments of regret that he had, um, of service, and he talked about cool stories and such, but it was never something he bragged about ever. I
I
mean,
just don't see. I don't see weaponizing it. I don't know. So Justin and I and much of the audience have gone through the conversation about the Raiders going fully vaxxed and offering. There is no option here at Allegiant Stadium. If you're unvaccinated, you can't get in. The only thing you can do is get the shot. And I know Justin pointed out the one difference is kids. So what do you think, Dan? From outside the market, we've been asking everyone from outside Vegas, and they seem kind of blown away by the whole thing. But what do you think? Is it unfair? And I will also present the Raiders are you have to be fully vaxxed and show proof, or get the shot. UNLV says anyone can get in. You just got to wear a mask.
well, I mean, there's a little bit of a difference there, right? Market
Well,
wise.
those are the two options from the governor. UNLV is actually, I think for the season, UNLV will probably. I don't want to get too aggressive, but looking at ticket, trackers and stuff, I think UNLV has a chance to average like 25,000 a game, which ain't
Well,
bad
that's
for how
shocking.
bad. That ain't bad for how bad they've been
Yeah.
drawing. I will tell you,
Yeah.
I talked to the BYU coach today. BYU's playing Arizona 2 days after the UNLV opener, and they've already sold. They've got 50,000 of those tickets out of 58,000. So that game is doing well. But anyway, UNLV's going with one plan. The Raiders are going with another.
Well, I mean, Las Vegas, the Raiders. I mean, they're printing money. I mean, they can. Correct me if I'm wrong. He said, "Hey, if you don't want to follow our policy, it's fine. We're not." Here's actually, this is funny. It's a dirty little secret about Denver. They claim that they sell out every game. They've sold out every game for like 50 years. They ripped away about 5,000, the Broncos, 5,000 season tickets from season ticket holders who, during the Peyton Manning era, because they wanted to have comps that they could spiff, vendors and, high, VIPs and high value, sponsors and things like that. And so what they did was, there's a policy that you can only resale X amount of your tickets, and they're supposed to be resold through the NFL resale website, right? So they ripped away about 5,000 tickets from season ticket holders. And during the Peyton Manning era, that was no problem. Well, now, because they've been so terrible during the last 5 years, they claim that they sell out because when the season tickets go on, or when tickets go on sale, the tickets available to the general public go on sale in the off season. Those sell out immediately, right? However, those 5,000 tickets that they ripped away, they can't give those away. Like even the VIPs don't want them anymore. So what happens is they go back into the pool, they go back for sale onto the team's the website. Like you can walk up to the box office and buy a ticket to a Denver Broncos game, and they go unsold by the hundreds, sometimes thousands on game day. I'm not talking about StubHub or resale. These are box office tickets, right? So that's how bad it's gotten here in Denver. Las Vegas has no such problem. So the Raiders policy is, hey, if you don't want to follow our policy, that's fine. We know you shelled out a ton of money to get your seats, whatever. I think what they said was, we'll just toll it. You can come back next year. We'll give you your money back, and you're not going to lose your place in line. You're not going to lose your seats. We'll just give your seats to somebody else that will give us the money for it. We'll sell your seats to somebody that's willing to come in vaccinated. No problem. No harm, no foul. You just don't get to be here for this season. No big deal. And so that's the way they're going about doing business because, hey, business is good. Business is really good for the Raiders right now, and they don't have an issue with it. So I don't think they're going to have an issue at all. If you want to go to a Raiders game, get the shot.
There's no, like, all the fans out there who were saying bad for business. They're not going to be selling out games. First of all, every game is sold out. And Adam and I were looking online today. The resale ticket, whatever, the NFL ticket exchange program that's connected to Ticketmaster. Game 1 against the Ravens, lowest price right now. After we heard all this stuff 3 days ago, now people aren't going. Tickets for the Ravens start at $380 on the resale market.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous joke. They will sell every game. Will be packed to the gills, and they know that.
Yeah.
So they're like, if you don't. And by the way,
your instincts were correct in the beginning. The Raiders are doing it because they can do it. UNLV is doing what it has to do because it can't do it.
Right.
So it's an economic decision. I'm very much for UNLV.
Well, but here's the deal. Is there, I don't know, is there kudos there? Like, they don't have to do it, right? The Raiders could say, hey, these are our most loyal people. They were first in line. Let them do whatever they want. They're saying, no, we're taking a stand. We want to be leaders here. We can afford to do it because we're going to make the money no matter what, right? Be vaccinated. You want to come to our place of business. You want to enjoy our experience. You want to be the first ones ever to come to our games, or I don't know what they did last year, but I guess there were some people last year. But you want to be part of the real deal this year, get the shot.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that, I don't know how big of a fan I am of Mark Davis, but at least he's taken a stand in these last 2 seasons. Last year, they did not let anybody in. He said, I'm not doing partial. It's all or nothing. So we're just nothing it until I can pack the house. And now he's the first one to take the stand on vaccinated. Hey, man, at least he's taking a stand. I get it. He's in a strong financial position to be able to take that stand, but he doesn't have to. The easiest thing in the world for him to do would be, okay, we're going to require masks for everybody. Let's see what happens. We know what's going to happen. Nobody's going to be wearing their mask. It's impossible to enforce. And, probably everybody looked the other way. But what I really think happened, and I have no knowledge of this whatsoever. This is just my knowledge of how things work and just an educated guess at best, is that based on the governor's timing of his press conference, the MGM policy, and the Raiders policy, that Mark Davis is close with, or at least a confidant of, the governor. We know MGM and Murin and Hornbuckle are, close with the governor. And the governor, I think, is asking for help. He's saying, I cannot mandate these things. I cannot go any further politically than I've already gone. I've gone far enough. I can't go any further. I got a re-election next year. And if I mandate this stuff, it's over. I need private enterprise to do it. MGM, you're the biggest employer in the state. Raiders, if you do it, you're much more likely to get people to actually get vaccinated because people want to go to your games. Will you guys do this for me? I really think that's what happened. I mean, I have zero knowledge of that, but there's something along those lines based on the timing of the announcements. It was all within hours of each other. I think it was coordinated.
There you go. And we had mentioned something along those lines when people are getting after Mark Davis, acting like he just made this decision independent of other power brokers around Nevada. That's a completely ridiculous notion. So what do you think is going to happen in places like Denver, Dan?
I don't know. We're getting we're getting bad here again. Again on the personal front. And to my knowledge, we're not. Our numbers are not completely out of whack. But I'll just go back to like my family deal. Like our daughter recently switched daycare. We switched to a daycare. She has anxiety. So, for example, our county health department had said you had to drop the kid off in the front of the door, and then the child gets escorted back. She's 3, about to be 4 years old. That causes her anxiety. We switched daycares. So the new daycare that she's been at for like 2 weeks allowed us to take her back to her classroom. She loved it. It was fine. There was no anxiety. Every day was pretty cool. Just now, this week, all of a sudden, nope, the county says you can't do that anymore. Got to cut that off. the teacher now is quitting, saying, I can't teach like this because now every kid comes in full of anxiety, freaked out. You can't start your day that way. I don't want to teach this way. Today, just today, now, even though before the CDC guidelines were I think below 10 years of age, we would not mandate masks. Now, 2 years and above have to have masks. So now, I mean, how are you gonna? You can't make 2-year-olds, toddlers wear masks. It's impossible. They won't do it. Oh, I guess in Japan maybe they do. I don't know, but so it's getting out of whack here. As far as Bronco games and stuff like that, I haven't. We have our hands so full with the atrociousness of the practices and underwhelmingness of the level of play with the team itself. I have not really, and I've been working pretty hard, so I'm not really up to speed on what their policy is going to be as of yet, and I don't even know if they've completely evolved it yet. But I'm not sure on that. But it's going to get bad, I think, because I mean the reaction. I mean, Colorado is, it's John Denver State. It's not. It's not. It's not getting more conservative. It's getting less conservative, and so I think it'll be as things get worse and worse and worse. Even though I would imagine, I haven't looked at the numbers. By the way, that was the guy I was arguing with yesterday. You're watching the wrong channel, Dan. No, I'm not. I'm not watching any of the channels because I don't, I'm not getting wrapped up in this. So I don't know. I'm not keeping up on this, but I would imagine Colorado's probably one of the more highly vaccinated states. I could be wrong. Outside of, well, at least the metro area, I would imagine, is probably highly vaccinated. But I would imagine as the numbers rise, our policies will get more and more strict.
I don't think Colorado's one of the higher ones. I'm going to look it up right now. They just did a map the other day, and it was very coastal, northwest, northeast. Sort of the middle was not great.
That can't be right. The middle is where all the people live. That's where all the pot smoking liberals live in the middle. That's where Denver is.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. Washington, California, New Mexico are the best west of the Mississippi.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the state of Colorado. In the middle, that's where all the pot smoking liberals
are. No. I'm talking about the United States. I'm saying Colorado's not one of the highly vaccinated states. It's not. It's probably somewhere in the middle of the pack.
Okay. I mean,
it's not the South.
Well, the weird thing about Colorado is that you have the population centers. The Colorado Springs is very, very highly conservative, but you have about a quarter of the amount of people that live in Denver. 25% of that population lives to the south there, but most of the people, live in Denver. But then you have this whole Lauren Boebert rural, a lot of rural people live outside of the state, but more and more as, once we passed our marijuana laws, we had a big influx of people that moved here just because you couldn't get pot anywhere else. So it's interesting. But I'd be surprised. Well, I'm going to Google it now, but I'd be surprised that if we weren't highly vaccinated. I'm going to guess over under Colorado vaccination rate. I'm saying 70.
Brady's put it up multiple times. Are you not seeing the comments tonight?
Oh, is
that
it?
55%. And you're.
Oh yeah, I don't have the comments.
I was looking up Nevada the other day, and I'm like, that's it. Like, we haven't moved at all. What's going on here?
15% is pretty good. 15 out of 50 is pretty good.
Yeah. I think we're at
55% is bad though. 55%.
I think we're at 45. I think we're at 45.5, something like that. Fully vaxxed, and then it was like 53% had gotten a shot.
What are you guys doing out there? We get one shot, by the way. What's the point? What are you guys doing?
They're just getting started. Last number I saw was 56% had fully or partially vaccinated, and then there was another 14% that aren't age eligible yet. So when you take the 56% of what is that? How I don't know how that math would work off the top of my head. But 56% of 87%, the percentage of eligible adults. You're up there. You're doing pretty good.
All right. And I will say, Dan, my big case against the Raiders and what they did is I don't like the fact that they're doing fully vaxxed and no masks. So it'll be an entirely maskless crowd outside of people getting their first shot. That I don't know.
When you
I don't
guys
like-
are indoors, right? That's an indoor stadium, so it's a little
Uh-huh.
bit it's a little bit different. But I mean, in general, I mean, it's a big open air type setting, so it's a little bit different, right? Or no? In your mind, is that not?
say it again.
Well, I mean, it's a big open air setting.
Only if they got that window open.
Well, I'm saying it's closed in,
Oh, it's
right?
Yeah, circulated air. Yeah,
So I mean, so it's different. Like if you go to, the Broncos and Power Field at Mile High, I mean, it's open air, right? Like, so you guys
Right.
are not. So I guess that's different for you guys, but I mean, it's still,
Right.
So I guess it's different.
All right. Update on the Washington State story. Justin, you remember that one yesterday?
I do.
So the governor requiring K through 12 and then higher education employees all get vaccinated or else. Nick Rolovich, the Washington State coach, is not vaccinated, said he wasn't going to get vaccinated. He had until October 19th to do it. It says here, headline, Rolovich says he will follow state mandate, but keeps mum on vaccination. That's interesting. He said, I plan on following the mandate for sure. And then when they started to ask him, he's like, I'm just going to follow the mandate. All right. Okay. I don't know, man.
So he's saying
I don't know
that he's doing one of three things, right? He's doing a religious exemption, he's doing a medical exemption, or he's getting the vaccine. That's following the mandate, right? One of those three. So maybe he's got a health condition. I don't know. If he's saying, I'm following the mandate, which vaccine are you getting? I'm following the mandate. He might not be getting vaccinated.
He also added his assistant coaches, a few who wear masks at practices. I believe they all plan on following the mandate. It's what the deal is.
Yeah, That's right. As the highest paid state, or probably second highest paid state employee, that is the deal. You do have to follow state law.
Well, but here's the deal. Here's the deal that I was thinking about when we read this. It was like, get the vaccine or you're fired. There's still a process. He still has employment rights. There's still a grievance process. There's still something he can go through.
What, due process? Did you get the vaccine? No. Did you send a religious exemption letter? No.
No. Come on. No. It's not, okay, you're fired. That's not, I guarantee you there are employment policies in place at the university that, there would be some sort of process, some sort of a PIP or something he would go through that it wouldn't just be as, all I'm saying is he would just not simply not be the head coach the next day.
Oh, I believe I believe that's exactly what would happen. Right. I mean, I think that's exactly what would happen. What would happen if he got arrested? Right. And he got arrested for assault, sexual assault. Let's make it really bad. Gets arrested for sexual assault. And you get the police report. You are able to talk to him. He's like, yeah, I did it. You're telling me they're not going to fire him the next day? Yes, they are. And could they then have maybe some sort of grievance that they want to put towards getting financial compensation? Maybe they could try to do that. But bottom line is if he doesn't follow the mandate, he's breaking state law. You're fired.
Yeah, I would say sexually assaulting somebody would not fall under the same umbrella as.
No, either way, you've got due process rights, right? It's a state institution. You've got due process rights. But what I'm saying here is the due process is really simple. Did you do one of these three things? No, I didn't. Then you're fired. That's the end of the day. And yes, okay, you wanna try to file a grievance, go for it, but you're gone. Give me your keys, get out.
I don't think it would roll out quite that simply.
Only if the president of the university is in his camp and is trying to keep him on. But if it was somebody who was on the hot seat, I think that this would be a very easy for cause termination. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, what's your defense? Are you going to argue that the governor does not have the power to make this rule? Even if you're successful there, the university believes he does at the time that they enact it, right? It's not the university's obligation to go to bat for you against what you believe to be unconstitutional laws that are being enforced against you. That's not their obligation. That's not their duty.
Well, no, my larger point is this: is that the governors that go around saying that I'm going to willy-nilly go around and terminate people based on my whim, it's not necessarily that case. There are, depending on policies or procedures or laws, there are things that they have to follow. Presidents can't just say, well, I want to fire this guy or fire that guy. There are certain positions that you can't do that, or HR policies or handbooks or whatever. You can't, or somebody has tenure, so to speak. Not that this guy in particular has this, or the guy in Florida saying, well, I'm just going to fire any teacher that doesn't do this, or any administrator that doesn't do this. My point is, it's not just so simple that any governor can just fire anybody and say, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to fire people, period. It's not always that simple. Now if they're looking,
I agree.
if they're looking to
Sorry.
get rid of a football coach, well, maybe, but we'll see how big of a spectacle they want this to become.
Right. I mean, well, the teacher situation, teachers have collective bargain rights that are, but as far as I'm aware, head football coaches do not have collective bargain rights. They have a contract, right? And if the
Well, what's in
contract,
this contract?
of course, but violation of the law, I'm sure, is one of the reasons for cause for termination, right? Now, the question is whether or not you get the university to play along, or the university says, nah, yeah, we know he's breaking the law and we have the right to terminate him, but we're not going to terminate him. And the governor try to come over the top of whether or not the governor has the right to step on the toes of
Okay, well, what if he
Washington
says?
State.
What if he says this law? Well, I'm gonna mount a legal challenge to this law is unconstitutional, and this law has not been tested, and I want to take this all the way,
Right.
and then I'm gonna run this all the way, and I'm gonna get injunctive relief in the meantime, and I'm gonna coach this entire season under. I'm gonna seek a restraining order and injunctive relief to coach this entire season under the banner of that, because I think this is overbroad, overreaching legislation, law that violates my constitutional rights. You can't do this. So then what?
Well, so first off, again, it depends on what the university wants to play ball with, right? But here's the thing. If you were to do that, number one, 100%, there's no way he's getting injunctive relief on this claim. 0%. This is established Supreme Court of the United States law since 1905. He is not winning this argument. He will not get injunctive relief, which requires you to prove that you will, in fact, succeed on the merits. You're not going to succeed on the merits. But
No, it says
let's
you're
say
likely to prevail.
Yeah, you
Not
are
100%
completely
will
unlikely.
prevail.
Yeah,
Not
you are
100% will.
completely.
No,
You will not
likely to
prevail, though. You were unlikely to prevail. You can, as a matter of law, will not prevail. I mean, there is no established law in any state, any federal jurisdiction. It is the only established law is in the Supreme Court of the United States, which says public institutions, schools can require vaccinations for admittance and of employees. It has been the law of the land for over 100 years. So, but let's play that out. Let's say he says, you know what? No, I'm gonna challenge this and I'm gonna seek my due process. Okay, you're on administrative leave. You're not coach of the team. I'm not gonna have somebody spit in the face of the authority of the state. Now, again, I don't think the governor has the right to terminate. I think it's the school's employee. And if they get into a pissing match, that's where I think it gets really interesting. If the university president or the athletic director goes, yeah, we know we can terminate the contract, but we're not going to, then what happens? Well, then most likely the higher education authority, the Board of Regents for the state of Washington, is going to have to step in and say, we're going to take a vote on this and whether or not we're going to terminate the contract. And then what do you have there? Public comment. It's all coming in. It's going to be the greatest. It's going to be, I hope they live stream it and everybody can watch it because it's going to be a shit show.
Well, except for they probably have that limited to what, 8 minutes, whatever their policies say. Right. As many people can comment as they want, but it's limited to 10 minutes at the beginning of the session, right?
Unless somebody on the Regents is, I doubt all the Regents are on the same page on this, right? And
unlimited public comments?
Yeah, maybe not. There's some crazy people in elected offices throughout the United States, and they love nothing more than to make spectacles of these hearings, all hearings, state, local levels. They love it. They help promulgate it. It's why they're there. They want to be disruptors.
Did you see the what was it, county commissioner in Nye County going after Sisolak, going after his wife, that this is some sort of like Asian conspiracy, the whole masking thing, and that she's profiting off it?
That is
Jesus,
disgusting and racist. First off, the first lady of Nevada, she is an awesome lady. She's a great ambassador of the state of Nevada. And yes, she is of Asian descent, but she's a native Nevadan. She was born here. And not that even matters. It shouldn't even freaking matter. I shouldn't even have to discuss that. But what a disgusting comment by the Nye County commissioner. And thankfully, I'll give credit to the GOP party on the state level. They condemned it. All the higher ups, all the leadership of the GOP, they all condemned it and said this is inappropriate. It's racist. And so it's gross, and it really shouldn't even get any more time because this person is just like you're talking about, likes to make a spectacle of the process.
So there was a tweet out a little while ago. 2 Nevada families are suing Governor Sisolak, Attorney General Aaron Ford, and Clark County School District, alleging their families' constitutional rights were violated by mask mandate in schools, according to complaint. Have you seen anything on this one?
I mean, I'm aware of it. I think it's going to be swiftly dismissed. It's not going to go anywhere. There's no legal grounds. I mean, arguably, you'd be able to file a complaint if they didn't require masks. I think there's more realistic legal exposure to the public school system not protecting kids from a preventable virus like that by doing something as simple as requiring masks. I understand Dan's point of view, and yeah, I'm talking kindergarten and up. I'm not talking about toddlers. I'm talking about our public school system. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. And just to fill Dan in, Nye County is our county adjacent where Pahrump is, where they also elected to the state. Yeah,
don't they do something interesting over there?
When this is what's fun. When I was elected to the state legislature, so was a dead pimp in Nye County. He was already dead. He was dead, but still on the ballot. Too late to be taken off the ballot. And he got voted in.
Did he get elected? I'm just curious.
He did get elected. He did. It's crazy.
We were on the path of some college football. So, Dan, I want you to tell people about the former Hurricane player who actually was shot to death in November 2006. They just made an arrest. It's a former teammate. I mean, it is 15 years later, and U.S. Marshals arrested Rashawn Jones on a first-degree murder charge in the killing of Bryant Pata. and obviously this had been unsolved this entire time. So what's the skinny on this one?
Yeah, and I'm actually, for the viewers that don't know, I'm a huge Miami Hurricanes fan. So I'm familiar with this case, and I saw this pop up tonight. I didn't realize, I actually had not known, it had been percolating that this guy had been suspected. It was a teammate of his, uh, not a particularly noteworthy teammate, but I guess they had dated. I I might be getting this wrong, but Brian Pata, who was the guy that was a good player, really good player, was about to be drafted fairly highly in the next draft. Was murdered, shot in an apartment complex parking lot. Now suspected by a teammate, but I guess they had shared relations with the same woman. That might have been the genesis of the beef. They had actually had some sort of altercation before, and Jones, who's the suspect that had been arrested, had said something like, "You better strap up next time because I'm coming for you." And he had at the time was suspended for, excuse me, just recently been suspended for marijuana use. Third time being testing positive for marijuana. I believe he was like a cornerback or something, but not really a primetime player for the team, but wasn't really with the team. But they had like cell phone records, and like he didn't go to. They called a team meeting right after the shooting, and he didn't show up. He told the cops he was at the meeting, so they had suspected him for a long time. So I'm curious as to whether they actually have some new evidence to make this thing stick, or what the impetus was for actually making the arrest now, after somebody had leaked this late last year, because the police had suspected Jones being the guy for a long time. Like they knew this, like they had cell phone records and all that stuff. He had been the prime suspect forever, but I'm curious, and somebody had reported it last year. So I'm curious as to now, do they have some sort of evidence where they really feel they can get a conviction, or what the timing was for the arrest? But now here's the sad thing. On a lighter note, which we never want to make light of a story like this, but I'm a huge Hurricanes fan. Steve, when you and I worked together, that was kind of the heyday back in 2001 when they were rolling, winning their championships. This came right after that, and reading the article, there were quotes from Larry Coker, um, Kyle Wright, Willie Williams, all these failed great hopes from the team right around that era, like the great recruits and stuff that never panned out. It was bringing up like past trauma of the failures of the team around that time. It was like, man, oh, Kyle Wright, he was supposed to be our great quarterback around that time. He's probably selling insurance right now. And Willie Williams was I think maybe the number one recruit in the country. Always got in trouble, but was supposed to be like a really world-class linebacker. Never got in trouble. And like Larry Coker was the coach that took over the team after Butch Davis left to coach the Browns, and gravy trained, one national title, and then became Larry Coker. So it was like, man, I don't want to read this article anymore because it's too painful, because the Hurricanes have never recovered from the aftermath of Larry Coker.
The reminder of the downfall.
Yes. That's like being a Jets fan, Cofield. It's terrible.
You have to fall down from some height, though.
I know.
Jets.
Well, Joe Namath. Joe Namath.
Really,
yeah, Joe Namath.
Yeah.
I like I said, we interviewed the BYU coach today, and I knew as soon as I started going down the path of being a Jets fan and asking him, what he told NFL people as to why Zach Wilson was going to be good, I'm like, I got to get out of this. I'm going to get all worked up. I'm going to embarrass myself. So I asked one question about it and moved on quickly.
You know what's funny, real quick, Cofield? There was a guy in my grandpa's building that played Babe Pirelli, who was Joe Namath's backup.
Really?
And he would come in, and we were buddies with him. He'd come in, just throw his keys down, and his Super Bowl ring just down on the table like nothing. You know, that Super Bowl
Yeah.
from the
Right.
like it was nothing. Just throw it on the table. That's my Super Bowl ring.
Thanks, dude. Rub it in. I wasn't born yet. Rub it in. There you go. All right, you last thing to close on. I'll pump up the picture for some reason. The video, I don't even know if I can get the picture up here, but the video's not working. But again, you had this like giant freaking meat stack, and then you threw it in the giant, super overpowering smoker. What was going on here?
Oh, you have no video?
Dude, at my computer's
yeah,
on.
come on now.
There's a picture of it, but yeah.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, so it's 100 pounds of
100
pork
pounds.
there. Yeah, it actually came out really good. I've got a new little technique where I make sure it's real nice and juicy. So, you know what I've decided. I grew up and became the guy. I don't have the nice sports car. I don't have a lot of things, but I grew up and became the guy that has the ridiculously nice smoker in his backyard, like out of place smoker that you don't need. You know, I use it for to cook for the church thing, but it's completely out of place. Like it's completely overkill. But yeah, I can cook 100 pounds of meat at one point, at one time, and it comes out really nice.
We don't give Dan enough credit for what you're doing in terms of charity. Most of the stuff you're cooking, you're giving away.
Yeah. So we
What'd you do with this stuff?
Yeah. So it was all free. I mean, 100 pounds of pulled pork. That so that's so you can't see it because the video's not rolling, but it's a rotisserie smoker, so it rotates, right? That rack rotates. It just goes all night, so it's really cool. It's a really cool smoker, man. It's really bad, so there's 12 pork butts on there, and they just come out real nice. And then
for free meal, eh?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So you can see it rotating a little bit.
It does look awesome. Jesus.
No, isn't that much better? Like sometimes you you go and grab like little videos and stuff from restaurants around the country, and it just looks like garbage. That looks pretty good, doesn't it, Cofield?
That looks ridiculous. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
I would want to grab that with my bare hands, and I'd burn the fuck out of myself.
Maybe Watkins will let me stop by and cook at the Pizza Ranch every once in a while when I'm in town.
All right. Believe me, we have our doomsday plan, Adam Hill and I. So maybe you're into this, Dan. Everything's going to fall apart in the media, and we're deciding now. We were divvying up who's going to be front of the house and back of the house.
Yeah. Well, the problem is with that smoker, you can't move. I mean, well, it's got wheels, but it's 700 pounds, so you're not moving it out of the yard unless you have some equipment or something.
I think I'm a dishwasher or like a host. So probably dishwasher.
A host? No. I mean, I'm pretty sure Watkins is overruling that.
All I need is Cofield has got the window to the front. He's back of the house, but he's got the window to the front. Whether that's dishes or whether he's on the oven, he's got something that he could freak out to the waiters and the hostess to tell them that they're doing their job wrong. As he's sitting there, saucing pizzas over and over again.
Oh my God. I really don't know what it is, but I hear it all the time. The person who's expediting in the back. Oh my God, would I love to do that. But I would so screw up the whole restaurant. But me because I get to scream at the people doing the food and people taking the food. And they're like, what the, let's go. Like, just flipping out. Great.
Cofield has a booth in the corner where he meets with people like Nikki Santoro. He meets with the important people. That's it. He's like a kingmaker. That's it. He meets the VIPs.
At the Pizza Ranch, too.
Yes, at the Pizza Ranch.
At the Pizza Ranch, yeah. Yeah, Nikki
and then
Santoro.
You throw Adam Hill on the dishes, and knowing that he doesn't want to do the dishes, to hear him talk to whoever's walking by about how he would run the store better. And this is what management needs to do. They're wasting his talents on the dishes.
So perfect.
I'm being serious here. I don't know if there's a job at the restaurant that Adam can have. I mean,
Oh, he's
can
got to be
he
there.
he can stock the cooler, like if you have the cooler up front with like you could place the pop in, maybe, I don't know. Like,
I actually think when I mentioned host earlier, I actually think he would be a great host, and especially in this era, he is because the host is gonna, the host or sort of manager or whatever, is such a glutton for punishment. Adam is unbelievable at taking it and rarely giving it out. I'm telling you, he told the story on the other day that Dan, there were protesters out in front of Allegiant trying to get into the press conference where Davis was announcing the vaccine stuff, and they're sitting there. Adam's just going in as a media member, and they're sitting there yelling at him. They're screaming Nazi at the freaking security people. At one point, they called Adam a sheep. Adam then exacerbated the situation when the security person asked for ID. He's like, "Oh yes, I've got ID. Would a Vax card work?" Like right in front of these people, and they were like, "Oh, "You sheep," but he doesn't do anything. He's big fella in like wimp's clothing, man. I actually think he'd be good at calming, and just dealing with all the
yeah,
crazy.
well,
No.
okay, so he
Dishwasher's
could be
perfect.
he could give out like the free. He couldn't be the host, but like if somebody was upset with their meal, maybe he could come out and give like a free dinner or something. I don't know.
He's got to have absolutely zero power all
Yes.
the way at the bottom of the total poll, so he has no input on any policies or procedures of the restaurant, so that the whole time he's just rambling on about how these policies and procedures that have nothing to do with his job are inefficient, ineffective, and need to be changed.
Well, that's it. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey guys, I understand you're upset with your meal. I know. I had the veal parmesan too, at the or off the buffet, the pizza ranch.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Dude, it was so bad. He could ramble at how bad it was. Here, let me give you a buffet card. Come back next time. I mean, he could do that, right? That's
I
about
can't give
it.
him that kind of power. You know how many cards he'd be giving out? He'd be throwing those
You go
things out like
broke.
candy. You gotta have a little bit of a backbone.
You go broke.
Yeah. But it would be one of the greatest reality shows that we could ever put together if you just take the Lotus people
Oh my
and we
god.
shove them in there. I
Yep.
put Ari in a position of a little bit of power over Adam.
Over both of us.
Whatever
Over both
that
of us.
is.
Make him my boss. Holy cow.
Oh my God.
No, he's
It'd be
just
chaos.
he's running tickets. He's running tickets and complaining to you about the prep time. Hey, we're averaging 10.5 minutes of pizza here. What's going on? What the hell? We need 8 minutes. 8 minutes of pizza.
Utter chaos.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. Hopefully, we're gonna hear the announcement soon, but it'll be good
September
stuff. All right.
22nd.
Okay.
That's the date.
Good deal. All right, Dan. What do you got going on coming up? You doing any shows or what's happening?
Well, I'm going to be traveling a lot. I'm actually going. Well, I got the weekend shows coming up. And then I'm coming out to. I'm calling it the Slaughter. So I'm going out to Miami, Alabama, coming up here in a couple weeks. Then I'm coming out. Then I'm going to Hawaii. Then I'm coming out to see you guys, Raiders and Dolphins.
Okay.
So traveling a lot.
All right. Justin, I see you every week, so I don't have to ask you what's going on. Is there anything else for the audience that you need to tell them?
They know more about me than they should.
Good deal. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it.